Hi! Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have wanted to start one of these for forever, and it took a year of me owning this camera to do it, but welcome. I'm so happy you're here. My name is Leah. You can find me on socials as Wisteria Leah, and I'm so excited to start talking about reading on YouTube. I primarily read romance, although I do read some other genres occasionally, and I'm also a huge manga reader and collector, as well as anime and manga merch and figure collector, so I'd love to talk about all of that on here. So I thought for my first video, the best way for me to kind of get to know you and you to get to know me and my taste in reading was to do a mid-year check-in and see where I'm at halfway through the year and see if you've read anything similar to me. So far this year, I've read 57 books and 22 manga volumes. Out of those 57 books, I have two favorites. The first being Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. I had never read anything by her before, but the arc of this was read now on NetGalley, so I grabbed it, and I knew a bunch of my friends loved her, and she was coming to the Ripped Bodice, so I bought tickets to see her and like to see my friends. So I read this before the event, and oh my god, this book destroyed me. It took me apart, put me back together again. It is one of the most beautiful books, probably the most beautiful book I've ever read, and is absolutely the reason that I love second chance romance now. Just gorgeous. And my other favorite of the year was Not in My Book by Katie Holt. This is her debut novel, and it is incredible. Within pages, I was obsessed. From beginning to end, I just love the two of them, and there is a scene in here where they are writing their book together in their respective apartments. At this point, they still don't like each other, air quotes, but they're writing a spicy scene together from their apartments, and glorious, amazing, gorgeous. These are two of my favorite books ever. Quite honestly, Left of Forever is my favorite book of all time. Now for my biggest surprises of the year so far. The first is The Heartbreaker by Sarah Kate. This one surprised me because I love Sarah Kate. I've read the entire Salacious Players Club and I adore that series. However, with the Good Brothers series, I liked the first one. I really liked the second one. So I just went into this one thinking like, oh, whatever, I'll like it. Gorgeous. This book actually kind of changed my life. My favorite one of the series. I loved it. Another surprise of the year was Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail, and this only surprised me because in Delilah Green, Astrid Parker is kind of a mess, kind of mean, and like she was fine. Like I didn't dislike her, I didn't like her, I didn't really like, was kind of indifferent to her character. So I went into this one just because I wanted to read all the books, and I'm obsessed with her. I love her. I love everything about her. I want her to have everything good in this life and in this world. I loved her story with Jordan. This one, it's my favorite Ashley Harry and Blake book ever. Actually, absolutely surprised me. My last surprise of the year is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. And this one surprised me just because I had never read her books before. I didn't know anything about her writing or her style or anything. I bought tickets to go get this book signed and go to the book event in Union Square just because I wanted to go. And everyone who had read the arc really loved it. And so I went to the event. It was very cute. It was very sweet. Sarah is very sweet. She signed my book, and I started the audiobook like the next day, and oh my god, I loved it from start to finish. I 100% am Emily, for better or for worse, and Jack, top tier man. Gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful. I loved this. I still haven't read the rest of her books, and I will one day, but I am very excited for the last one in this series. Now some fave audiobooks. I'm a big audiobook person. My commute to work is very long. I also do a lot of hobbies where you can kind of listen to something. And when I'm cleaning, I have an audiobook on. I have an audiobook on the majority of my day. So I have quite a few favorites from the year. One of them is Sweet Obsession by Katie Robert. I also am somebody who needs a shelf trophy. So most of the audiobooks I've read, I own them too. Don't ask. But anyway, one of my favorites is Sweet Obsession by Katie Robert. I've read most of this series on audio because I really love the narrator, but the narrator for Icarus in this book, his voice is gorgeous and his storytelling is gorgeous. I loved this. Another favorite is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I love this book and I love the whole series, but this is the audiobook that introduced me to Connor Crace, and I am obsessed with this man's voice. I've read so many of his audiobooks since. He's just amazing, like a great voice, but also a great storyteller, so I loved this one. My other fave, I actually don't have a physical of yet, but I will, and it's Almost Maybes by Anna P. She is one of my favorite authors of all time, and I've read a couple of her other books, all eyeball reads, because she's an indie author, so this is actually her first and only so far audiobook, and it was gorgeous. I loved the book to begin with, but she got Jacob Morgan / Zachary Weber to do one of the voices, and he's just incredible. He's my favorite audiobook narrator, so I highly recommend this one. My last favorite, I'm kind of cheating because I haven't finished it yet. I'm listening to it now, but it's Between Friends and Lovers by Charlene Obobi, and I'm obsessed. I love both the main characters, and both the narrators are doing an incredible job telling the story, but also portraying all of the emotions. I'm loving it. Now let's talk about the prettiest covers I've added to my collection this year. I'm gonna start with some special editions and then just books that are gorgeous. So the first is The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I love this book. I sobbed from start to finish, and I found the Eternal Embers edition on Pango for a great price, so I grabbed it. Gorgeous. Then You're Gonna Lose It. Tell me this is not the most gorgeous book cover you have ever seen. On the pink, are you kidding me? I'm a sucker for a clinch cover, and so when I saw that Sarah Kate was doing another round of special editions for This Is the Anti-Hero, purchased immediately. This is the most gorgeous book that I own. I'm obsessed, and I'm really hoping that she does the rest of the series. Last special edition I actually just got, and it is the Eternal Embers version of Savor It by Tara DeWitt. Just gorgeous. For a gorgeous book, may I add. If you haven't read it, you should read all of her books. Then I got both versions of Dream On, Ramona Riley, which is Ashley Herring Blake's newest book, and it was lovely. Very slow burn, but worth it. This is the original cover, and this is the, I think, Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. Both gorge. Then this book I bought randomly for a book festival that I went to in February, and it's Give Me Butterflies by Jillian Meadows, but tell me that's not stunning. I also met her at the book festival, and she is the sweetest human alive. I love this book. I can't wait to read her other one and the one that she's writing right now. And lastly, I was talking about my girl Anna P, so I can't leave her out, but the first book that she published this year is Almost Always, and I just adore this cover. I love her covers. I love this artist, and also the colors that they use, just gorgeous. Now, to help me justify owning all these books, I did do quite a few rereads this year, which I usually don't do, but I gotta say, brought me a lot of joy. Highly recommend. And there are some other books that I would like to reread this year. So what I did reread was Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. I love this book. Also perfect for summer. Also Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Unpopular opinion, this is my favorite book by her. Lost and Lassoed by my girl Lila Sage. I also reread Love and Other Disasters, which is the book that introduced me to Anita Kelly, and they are one of my favorite writers of all time. So much so that I read How You Get the Girl by Anita Kelly, not once, but twice this year. So I've read this 3 times total, and I probably will reread it before the year is over. And finally, Left of Forever. And you're probably thinking, Leah, didn't you say you read that for the first time this year? The answer is yes. I read the e-arc on my Kindle, and as soon as the audiobook came out, I read that. And there are some other books that I would like to reread before this year is over. So the first one is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I did annotate this one, and I just love them so much. This is also one of my favorite books of all time, so I'd really like to reread it before the year is over. I also really want to reread Beach Read by Emily Henry. I love her, who doesn't? But I read this for the first time on my family vacation, I think 2 years ago, but maybe even last year, and I really want to bring it on vacation again this year and just try to feel what it felt like to read this for the first time again. I also really want to reread The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This book also surprised me, and I loved it so much, and she has another book coming out in July, so I think whenever I get ready to read that one, I'd like to reread this one as well. Almost Love by Anna P is what introduced me to her, and these are just 2 characters that I will love for forever, and that I see myself in both of them so much, and I think that this will be a very nice comfort read for me to reread this year. And lastly, who guessed it? Left of Forever. And again, you're probably thinking, Leah, What do you mean you want to read it again? I mean, I want to read it, the book now, and annotate it because it's just my favorite. I also surprised myself this year and read a lot of new to me authors. I have a whole list, so I do want to shout them out. They are, get ready, Tara DeWitt, Katie Duggan, who is an angel on earth, Victoria Wilder, who I'm beating later next month, Gabriela Gomez, Tati Richardson slash TM Richardson, gorge, Jillian Meadows, TJ Alexander. This is going to sound bonkers, but Julie Soto, I have read her fics before, but I never read any of her published books until this year. Simone Soltani, Katie Holt, Katie Naiman, QB Tyler, Rebecca Kincaid, who I very much recommend, S.J. Tilley, Ashley Herring Blake. I read all of her books this year. Adriana Herrera, Annabelle Slater, Kathy Yardley, Emily Antoinette, if you like monster romance, Lena James, Elliot Rose, Imani Eriu, and Etta Easton. Now I want to talk about some manga. I've read 22 volumes this year. Quite honestly, that's very low for me. Usually I've read like 2 or 3 times that much by now, so I want to make a video about it, but I'm very behind. I do have goals though, so fear not everyone, we're gonna be okay. But I do have quite a few new series and one-shots that I read this year that I really love. The first, this is kind of cheating because I have read it on my Kindle, but they're just publishing it physically now this year. Love is an understatement. It's by the same mangaka as Lovesick Ellie. Home Office Romance by Kintetsu Yamada, which is the same mangaka as Sweat and Soap. So if you read that one, you should try this one. I loved it, and it is a COVID story that like didn't make me immediately depressed. It was really cute. This was a surprise. I picked it up on a whim, but Glasses with a Chance of Delinquent. This is adorable, just like a very cute high school romance. This one came highly recommended from a friend, and it is The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. This is gorgeous. It's very much giving Horimiya vibes, so if you liked Horimiya, you would like this one. And there's an anime coming out that I'm very excited for. I do believe that this is a shonen romance, so we might even be blessed with more than one season. We'll see. This one I have been dying to read for forever, and I was just waiting. I knew we were going to get it in English, so I was just waiting. That's Choking on Love, and it did not disappoint. I really like the story. I really like Gaku. And lastly, this was a huge surprise. I knew nothing about this, grabbed it on a whim, and it was The Metalhead Next Door. This is probably my favorite manga that I've read so far this year. I'm so sad that it's a one-shot because I really want more of them, but it was gorgeous. Okay, last thing to talk about. I will show you all one day, but like I said, I'm a huge manga collector, so I've probably got about 1,500 volumes, which means there's a lot of series that I'm in the middle of reading. So my fave continuing series that I've caught up on this year are Fire in His Fingertips, which if you haven't read it and you like spicy manga, just do it. A Sign of Affection, which is my favorite series of all time. Sasaki and Miyano, which is my other favorite series of all time. Cherry Magic, another favorite series of mine. The Titan's Bride, which is bonkers, but I love that series. Megumi and Sugami, which is very sweet. And the last one is Monthly in the Garden with My Landlord, which is a very sweet Yuri. All right, pals, that was a lot, but that's it. Thank you so much for watching and being here. I'm really excited to start all of this, and I appreciate you so much. You do have homework. If you haven't read it already, then you have to read, you guessed it, Left of Forever, and you also have to read The Metalhead Next Door, and let me know what you think. But truly, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you soon.